Hi, it's Neil with neilsvideos.com. Today I want to show you a nice little utility that it's been floating around for a while, and I don't know the person who created it. Otherwise, I would give them some, credit for it. There's the link that I'll put below the video, but it's basically for Townstar. It's a competition tracker, and what they do is basically, I think what they do is they scrape the data or they call some APIs or something, and they get this data and they probably put it in their own database. And then they make a tool that's kind of easier or better to use than the one that comes with Townstar. So, for example, here you can see in the last week, the people that had the top scores here had 3 billion, 921 million, whatever score. Okay, and if you want to see like where you came in, you look for your town name. I always try to name mine Neil something. I usually put the date. So like I have here Neil November 2022. And so I had 350 million. Okay, and this week, as it says up here, see the stack boxes. That was the meta. And so I think you got, it was either 30 million or 50 million every time you sold a set of 10 stack boxes. So for example, let's assume it was 50 million. That means you can just divide here the 350 divided by 5. That means or like 35 divided by 5. That means I sold 7 basically sets of stacked boxes through the whole week, which is not a lot, but that got me to rank 712. Okay. So it's not great, but it's not bad either. And it got me, an NFT. But what I was trying to do is get 600 or above. And it's just basically how much more time you have to put in the game to get to that higher level. So if you wanted to see like how many points I would have needed to be at 600 or above, that's where this utility can come in handy. So let's go back to, I guess, the top here. If you just clear my search box out, it'll go to the top, and then I'm going to put in here show 100 entries. Okay, it takes a few seconds to do that. So here I'm going to put 100. I wish they just put 1,000 or something there. Okay, so here's their results. So what we want to really do is go down to like position 600. So I'm basically going to go to, I wish I could go to screen 6 here, but I can go to 5, and then I'll go forward 1 screen. So let me click the 5 right there, and I'll do this off video. That was pretty fast. Okay, so now you can see up to 500, and now if I go, now I see the 6, or I can click next, and I can see what the score is for the 600th position. So right there, that's 463 million. And again, see, I had 350 million, so I really wasn't that far behind. I would have needed about, again, if it was 50 million, not 30 per sale, I would have needed 350, about 3 more sales of 10 stack boxes. I could have been at position 600. Now let's just go back. Let's say, what if you want to be in the top 500? 600 had 463 million. 500 has 601 million. So again, you can just divide that by whatever the prize was last week. Okay, there was my confusion. Okay, so when you sell this is Discord, by the way. So you get 3 million in cash when you sell a stack box, and you get 5 million in points. So your money goes up by 3 million, your points go up by 5 million. So basically you can just take a look at here, and you can divide like 600 by 5, and you can see that they sold basically 12 stack boxes. And actually, let me say that again. This is per 1 box. Okay, and of course you sell things in groups of 10. So it's 30 million and 50 million. So, okay, I'm just going to pull up the calculator so we do this correctly. I try to do the math in my head. I'm usually pretty close, but like there's 600 million. So I should be able to say 600 divided by, these are points, not dollars. So I would divide by 50 million for 10 boxes. That means this guy sold 12 sets of stack boxes. And that's the whole week from the day Tuesday it started until I think Saturday when it ended. So one way you can use this is, for example, Friday night, I could tell where I was in my rank, and I could say, okay, well, what if I sold, what if it takes me, say, 5 hours of actually sitting there at my computer to build another set of 10 stack boxes, is it worth it for me to spend all my Friday night and Saturday morning playing in order to get above the 600 level? Is it even possible? So basically, at the time, you can see what the score is of the person at level 600, because that's the next level I need to be up to get the next NFT power. And so you can see at that time, this guy, how many stack boxes he had, and then you know how many you have, or you know what your score is, and you can do the math, and you can say, okay, I'd have to create 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100, whatever, stack boxes to move up to position 600. But you got to also think that the person at 600 probably hasn't quit either, and they're trying to move up as well. So unless they've just taken a rest, they're going to be moving up as well. So you have to take that factor into consideration. But basically, I was like in the 700s on Friday evening, and I said, I'm just going to close the game and quit now, because almost no matter what I could do, again, I had this problem with my shallow mines not getting lumber, which I talked about in the prior video. So I was like, rather than try to fix that, there's nothing I can do to move forward, basically. So I just basically turned my game off, and I was happy with my position of 712, and I still get an NFT of good quality. And let's just check again what the NFTs were. You're going to have to use Discord, of course, to get all this information. See, right here were the places. So by getting in the position 600, I would have got a slightly more powerful saw blade, whatever that's going to do. Guided blades. I think it's going to speed up the lumber mill. But now, on the other hand, you could reverse it, and you could say, how easy is it to get a rare saw blade, right? Or a rare guided saw blade. So you only need to position 2000 to get one of those. So let's see who's in position 2000 on this tool here. I wish you could just actually type in 2000 and go there. That would be a nice feature. So I'm going to have to just like, if I go 30 must be the bottom. Dot, dot, dot do. It's like the dot, dot, dot is not even clickable. I'm going to have to go off video here. I'm going to page down. I'm going to click next, 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 next a few times. Okay, so to me, that's very interesting. See, they only have 286,000 points. And we know if they would have sold even one set of 10 stack boxes, they would have 50 million points. So that's one reason I think they do the scores up in the millions. By looking at this guy here, Icarus, that he didn't even sell one set of stacked boxes, or he would have millions of points, not hundreds of thousands. So it looks like you could actually play on the competition server and just probably do like uniforms or something like that, and you probably could have got over position 2000. Let's go back to Discord again. And that would give you the rare. So just to beat that Icarus guy, you would get the rare NFT, and that's pretty easy to do, really, I would say. And then to get the epic, you would have to be position 1200. So now let me scroll back to there. Okay, so here we are at 1200, and the guy has 8 million points. So that again tells me he never made 50 million points, therefore he never sold a set of stacked boxes. And now, if you scroll up here, you get to see, like, basically, to me, that's like the dividing line right there. More than likely, these guys with 50 million here are the first guys that were able to sell any stack boxes. The other people were just playing some other version of the game inside of Townstar. So if you would have sold one set of stack boxes, you probably would be in this 1100 or higher range. Now, the other thing it provides that I have not used a lot is right here. You see their current score, and then I think this is the triangle means delta, right? So that means how much did they go up in the last hour, in the last 2 hours, in the last 6 hours. You can kind of see how fast they're moving. Let's see if that makes more sense if we go up a little higher here. Okay, let's use this guy as an example. Man TH. In the last 2 hours, he sold $50 million. So that means he sold one set of stack boxes of 10. And within 4 hours, he sold two, apparently, because he has over 100 million. So that means he is basically making two sets of 10 stack boxes every 2 hours. Or one set of 10 stack boxes. One set of 10 stacked boxes every 2 hours. So if he continues at that rate, he would be moving up pretty good. Now, how can people have a score higher than him? It could just be that they got the game running on like automatic mode and they're not tweaking it and tuning it. Because with this last build, you kind of have to always flip some of your objects on the board between like one thing and the other. Like one of my lumber mills, I had creating oak wood for a while, and then I would turn oak wood off, and then or oak barrels, and then I would turn it off and make wood boxes, and I would kind of flip it back and forth. And sometimes I would let it just do normal lumber. So you have to sometimes flip the game. And so at night, for example, I would either just stop the game because I didn't want it to totally blow my inventory out of my warehouses and that type of thing. Because this was a really unusual build this last week because you had to have a lot of warehouses and the balance was just everything was squeezed in so tight. And maybe that's the way they're heading with the game. They're just trying to make it actually more interesting and more complex in a way for people to give us better challenges, right? So anyway, that's the tool. D3 Gaming has put it out. Like I said, I don't know who the actual people are, but I might send them an email and ask them if they could allow us to search by a place here. Like, what if I just typed in 2000? I think it's just searching the names. Yeah, it searches the names, so there was no town that had the name 2000 in it. I'd like to be able to go to the rank 2000 there. So anyway, that's another useful utility that you may or may not have known about, and I hope I showed you some extra tricks on how you can use it to know if you should move up or how much harder you should work, given if you have certain hours time left in your game or in your competition. So this has been Neil, and I'll see you in the next video.